Hello, and welcome to the LifeWorks podcast, where we share lessons learned from the trenches of life and business to help you achieve more, live more, and be more. I am your host, Mark Botros. In this episode, we're going to talk about what the fear of losing our job makes us do and what we can do differently. As of the recording of this podcast, we've been going through the COVID-19 quarantine and shutdown. As of this date, approximately 40 million people are out of work and seeking unemployment. That's a huge number. So in this kind of economic environment where corporations could easily outsource work to other countries for less money, where salaries are not only not increasing but rather decreasing, and where layoffs are a statistical certainty, all so that companies can meet some Wall Street expectation, fear of losing one's job is very, very likely and very possible. But what it does is that it makes us do a lot of things and put up with a lot of silliness that we would not otherwise put up with if we felt more secure in our positions. That kind of fear causes us to put up with ridiculously unhealthy work conditions and environments, to put up with processes that don't work or take too long or don't even make sense. And it causes us not to question the people and the things around us that also don't make sense. There are so many things in our work environment and in our world, for that matter, that we can't control. We can't control the broader economic environment or our organization's bottom line, unless, of course, you are your organization's top salesperson or you're the owner. Well, in that case, you probably have some influence over that. There are so many factors that determine your bottom line. Your customers, your reputation, your perception in the workplace, your marketing and PR, and your organizational leadership, whether that is you or someone else, and the ability to create compelling strategies and execute them accordingly. Even if you work in a nonprofit or government, funding always has an impact on you. I can't tell you how many times government shutdowns have impacted our clients, where they've been furloughed or shut down for weeks at a time while Congress figures out the next year's budget. All that said, there are several things that you can do in spite of that fear and to prepare for what might be unfortunate circumstances, like, for example, getting laid off. First, let it go. We need to let go of that fear. If a company wants to make Wall Street happy, then their management may eventually have to make unsavory choices. If your organization has had a cut in funding, if you're a nonprofit or government organization, that's something you can't control. Nor should you spend time worrying about something that may or may not happen. I know that's difficult to do. It's easier said than done, but it's something we have to do. We have to learn to let go of what we can't control and the fear that may come with it. 2, it's time to touch up that resume. Has it been a while since you've looked at your resume? And there's no time like the present to polish it up and get it ready for your next gig. 3, reignite the network. Has it been a while since your network has heard from you? Now would probably be a good time to start reaching out to them and hint that you may be in the market. 4, find ways to increase your value. Show yourself as having higher value so that your company or organization needs you. For example, learning a new skill. For example, learning a new critical skill, working in a new or critical job function, or step up and help solve some inefficiency in your organization or company, or step up and take on greater leadership responsibility. 5, get into sales. Typically, companies will not lay off salespeople, sales support, sales engineering, or anything related to sales. Generally speaking, if a company is not selling, it's not able to function. Delivery of products and services is a different story. Companies will either plus up on people to deliver products and services, or they will make do with less, but they always need sales. Otherwise, they have no one to deliver to. 6, get into a critical role. Look into other critical functions like finance, accounting, tax, contracts, project management, engineering, software development, IT support. Oftentimes, there is no shortage of these kinds of jobs, and they are typically in demand. 7. Don't wait. If you do feel that your job is in jeopardy, take control of your destiny and start actively looking immediately for another opportunity. 8. Diversify. Diversify your skill set. Learn on your own. Watch some YouTube videos. Take some additional training or work in a different job function. We live in an age where companies value people who don't just specialize, but who can do anything. If you're a business owner, who would you keep? The person who can just do one job or multiple jobs? Hint: this is how I survived 5 rounds of layoffs at a previous employer. 9. Consider a side business. Have you ever considered what it might be like to work for yourself, to have your own clients, and to own your own job? Now might be the time to start thinking about that, and the additional income may help you in case of a rainy day. And finally, 10, save, save, save. Speaking of rainy days, now would be a good time to sock away as much emergency money as you can. If the unfortunate should happen, you will need funds and a good financial plan to carry you through until you find your next income source. Fear of losing your job is valid and real. And while you can't control the broader environment, you can decide to increase your value starting now, or you can prepare accordingly. Either way, you can look fear in the face and know that you have a plan to protect yourself from catastrophe. I have a question for you. What has fear caused you to put up with in the past? How would you prepare for a job loss? What steps would you take? On a personal note, I lost my own job during COVID-19. I really liked the company that I worked for. In fact, I was going to be a lifer there. I had planned to work the next 20, 30 years for them. But COVID-19 caused them to make some very difficult decisions. And so they had to let me go. And I myself had to put a lot of these different strategies in place. It's funny, when I wrote this original blog post, I had a lucrative job. I had a thriving career. So this kind of advice was actually easy to give. But this was a moment where I actually had to take my own advice and actually sit in my own lecture and read my own content and listen to my own advice. And I can tell you, it's worked for me. Several things worked for me. 1, I had to let go of the fear. I had to let go of what I couldn't control. It's funny, when I got the news that I was being laid off, it didn't go as badly as I thought. In fact, I found myself not angry, but actually grateful. I really feel like the company that let me go did me a favor by doing so, because it actually opened up my mind to thinking about things that I never would have considered before. Different opportunities, different possibilities. So actually, it was a really good thing that they let me go. And I can talk more about that in another episode. The second thing I did was brush up my resume. The third thing I did was activate my network. And I have found that for those of my friends who were employed, I had more friends than I knew what to do with who were willing to help me. I had a new job lined up within about 3 weeks from the time that I was let go. I used the time to diversify my skill set, to learn different things, and to get exposure to different types of functions and different technologies. It was an amazing time for me, actually. And during that time, my wife and I actually used our emergency savings to carry us through. So I actually did take my own advice on this, and to be honest, it really rescued me during a time when I needed it most. So I hope that this advice will help you as well. Take care, be well, be safe, be smart. God bless you all. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe or sign up for my free updates at my website at markabotros.com, and you'll never miss a post or an episode. And if you think that someone will benefit from this, please share with them. Please comment on it in social media and or connect with me personally. I would love to hear from you.